Su Yunjin, a beautiful, quiet, and polite girl from the suburbs, enters a top-notch school in China to start a new life. This year, she graduates from junior high school to enroll in a prestigious secondary school to continue her studies. Her parents have been saving money for a long time so that she can attend her favorite school, even though they are suffering from poverty. On her first day at school, she appears different from the rest of the students, as she is very simple and somewhat confused. She witnesses a student driving his motorcycle at breakneck speed. The wheels hit a patch of water and accidentally splash Su Yunjin. The young man is called Xing Ying, and he comes from a wealthy family, considered a symbol among his classmates. She scolds him angrily, and when her temper cools, she narrowly avoids being hit by a baseball, thanks to the intervention of Chang, who catches the ball with his hand. Instead of apologizing to Yunjin for splashing her with water, he advises her to be more careful when walking. Her discontent continues until it becomes clear that they are in the same class, with her sitting directly in front of his seat. Yunjin has a close friend named Mo Yua, and they become friends due to their similar working-class backgrounds. Yua provides great support to Yunjin, helping her navigate her new school environment. Yunjin struggles with mathematics, unlike Chang, who excels in the subject. She often carries a book to the bathroom as she finds it difficult to understand mathematics. Behind her, Chang becomes curious about the purpose of the books she is hiding, suspecting she might be using them to cheat. He takes one of her books, causing her sanitary pad to fall out in an embarrassing moment. She leaves the class immediately, feeling humiliated. Chang feels guilty and regretful for his actions. He tries to make amends the next day, but she ignores him after several unsuccessful attempts to please her. In the end, he leaves the book on her table, and when she opens it, she discovers it contains all the math answers she can't solve, along with detailed explanations. After that incident, they begin to meet regularly on the rooftop of a building. Over time, Yunjin finds his company enjoyable, despite his occasionally annoying behavior. She eventually proves her academic abilities to her professor, scoring 85 on the exam, which makes her happy. Chang is also delighted for her. Their relationship continues to strengthen until Yunjin has to leave school for an extended period. Chang feels lonely and miserable in her absence, even dozing off during lectures. One day, he awakes to find someone in Yunjin's seat, which upsets him. However, it turns out to be Yua, a close friend of Yunjin's, who has returned from her village and is resting in her room. Chang rushes to Yunjin's place and calls her loudly. When she opens the door, sadness is evident on her face. He asks her why she has been gone for so long, but she doesn't answer, holding a black ribbon in her hand, symbolizing her father's death. As they reach the end of the school year, everyone attends the graduation ceremony. Chang notices Yunjin sitting with her friend and approaches her, inviting her to dance with him at his farewell party. They later move to a location near the school, where he confesses his love for her, and she kisses him. The kiss seems like acceptance, but deep down, it's a farewell kiss, leaving tears in her eyes. She knows that due to the class difference between their families, she is not worthy of his love. A year later, Yunjin becomes a university student and takes a part-time job on campus to support her tuition fees. There, she meets a boy named Wan, and they grow close, spending most of their time together. One day, Chang and his little sister visit the campus, and things become awkward between Yunjin and Wan when they reunite with Chang. Wan claims to be Yunjin's lover, but Chang also asserts that he is her lover. Yunjin clarifies that they are both just close friends. Chang takes them to a temple where they write wishes on pieces of paper. When Yunjin attempts to see what Chang has written, he hurriedly covers his paper. While Wan goes with Chang's sister to buy drinks, he notices Chang and Yunjin engrossed in a serious conversation. Suddenly and unexpectedly, Chang kisses Yunjin with sincerity, observed by Wan from a distance. Chang's sister tries to console Wan, but the relationship between Yunjin and Wan becomes strained, even though they work together in a library. Frustrated, Yunjin turns to Chang to vent her anger. Chang explains that he has suffered after graduation, as it's hard to find her. He believes that her graduation kiss symbolizes lasting love. At the end of her college years, she stops working part-time, and her mother asks her to return to the village to seek permission for her marriage. When she returns, she encounters Chang sitting near her house. He tells her that he accompanies his mother, who is working there. As it turns out, his mother has bought a factory in the area. They spend some time making rabbit lanterns, and later he invites her to live in Beijing after she graduates. She nods slowly in assent as she nears her graduation. She begins sending job applications to many companies in Beijing in order to be close to Chang. But all her efforts are in vain, as no company in Beijing calls her for an interview. Then she gets a recommendation for a company located in Shanghai, to which she applies and is accepted. A few days later, Chang tells her that he has set up a company in Beijing and needs employees. But she tells him that she has got a job in Shanghai, so he gets angry with her. She feels guilty and decides to go to Beijing by train. But Shang calls her and tells her he is on his way to Shanghai to see her. So they agree to meet on the way, and she gets off at the next train station and waits for his arrival. After he comes, they start hugging each other. The two arrive in Beijing, so he decides to take her to buy shoes and dresses to attend his sister's engagement party in the evening. When Yunjin arrives at the party, she is shocked to see that Chang's sister's fiancé is the one. During a conversation that takes place between them, she advises him to take care of his future wife. Days after she returns to her routine at work, her stepfather comes to her office and tells her that her mother has been very ill. It also turns out that her father is working in a company owned by the Chang family, as her father has embezzled the company's money to cover her mother's medical expenses. That's why her stepfather asks her to help return the company's money. She calls her friends to borrow money, but unfortunately, none of her friends can help her. So, with no other choice, she calls Juan for help, and he agrees to lend her the money. When Chang learns of her predicament, he comes to her apartment and gives her some money, but she refuses and tells him that she has borrowed some money from Juan angrily, who asks her why she hasn't told him instead of someone else. Then he leaves her apartment and heads to Juan's house, where he throws the money he has brought in his face, telling him to just mind his own business. That night, he goes out to the pub with his friends to calm his nerves. Yunjin begs him to come home, but he refuses, instead hugging another girl to make her jealous. Because of this problem, their relationship becomes strained again, and they separate. He then goes to America to meet his mother's request. Although a year has passed since he left, she has never been able to forget him. So she decides to go to the temple they used to go to, and she sees there the wish records of the visitors. So she searches through paper after paper until she recognizes the handwriting of Chang, who writes his wish that he wants them to live together. She starts crying, remembering her past with Chang. She finally decides to leave for New York to catch up with her boyfriend. After her arrival, she begins to ask people about the places until she arrives in front of a New York hotel where she can see him from a close distance as he is walking towards his car. But when she is about to go to him, she sees a pregnant woman walking with him and getting into the car with him. When she sees this, she can't help but cry and chooses to walk away. When Xing's car starts to move, he accidentally catches a glimpse of her and leaves wondering if this girl is Yunjin or just a girl who looks like her. He decides to get out of the car to go after her, but unfortunately, he can't find her. Yunjin is standing on top of a school building, and remembering the times they spent together, he grabs her hair from behind after finding her and asks if someone is looking for him in New York. She is silent and does not want to respond. Therefore, he starts showing a video clip from his phone showing her that this woman is an old friend of his and that her husband is one of his acquaintances, and when she sees them, he is only helping her. She starts crying, so he hugs her.